Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. It is January 2nd, Thursday in 2025. Once again, Happy New Year to everybody. And we're starting off 2025 with an active weather pattern. We've already had the initial cold air move into the Northeast and the upper Midwest. It's cold up there right now. Saskatchewan, North Dakota, South Dakota. Temperatures are pretty brutal already, although not for the folks that live there who are used to it during the winter time, but certainly single digits being experienced up there. Take a look at the GOES East satellite image. This is in motion, and you can see the sunset line, that terminator line coming down as it gets dark in the Northeast. But what you can see here is also the sea surface temperature data. Remember, I used that during the hurricane season to show where the really warm Gulf of Mexico waters were and in the Caribbean. Well, we can also see where the cold temperatures are. And look at this. Off the East Coast, it is really cold. Temperatures in the ocean in the low 50s in many cases. And even in the Great Lakes, I'll zoom in here a little bit, temperatures are in the low 40s. But the key thing is there that it is not frozen. The lakes are not frozen, which opens up the door. When cold air moves over those lakes, we get lake effect snows, and it's happening right now off of Lake Ontario, and this will continue and even accelerate or increase in intensity over the next couple of days from Lake Erie as well. So we have heavy snow possible there as the lake effect snow machine really kicks into gear. But it's all nice and clear in the southeast and Florida, enjoying beautiful weather. These are just some high, thin cirrus clouds here moving over. But we do have something developing, and that's going to be coming out of the Rocky Mountains over the weekend and develop into a significant ice storm and a significant snowstorm. This is actually something that a large swath of the U.S. hasn't seen for a couple of years. And I'll get into the details here in just a moment. But I do want to cover the West Coast as well. I'm not going to dive into deep detail on the West Coast, but I want to show you what's going on there. This is what it looks like. I've turned the sea surface temperatures on there as well. Of course, the Pacific, the Gulf of Alaska here, and the Pacific is normally cold anyway, but it is still in the 50s right now and 40s in the Gulf of Alaska. But you can see these low pressure systems that are streaming towards the West Coast. This is the plume of moisture, that atmospheric river that will be impacting the West Coast, particularly southwestern Oregon and northwestern California. Even in the Sierra Nevadas, we'll see an increase in moisture headed there over the next couple of days. But this is the area where we're focusing on for concern for potential localized flooding. You know how much rain you've gotten out there in the Pacific Northwest. You don't need any more. You want to see the sunshine. And it is going to continue, though, with the rain and some of it heavy at times. So this atmospheric river is going to move through. There's going to be a break and then perhaps another one moving in as these low pressure systems curve up into the Gulf of Alaska. Well, let's go back here to the U.S. Here in the U.S. The GOES East satellite to take a look at the eastern U.S. And the Midwest as to what's going to be going on. First thing is we have a whole lot of cold air that's pooling up here all the way up towards Alaska. That's over the horizon here in the curved earth. And you can see the infrared data on the satellite image is showing very, very cold air up here. That is now starting to come down. And as we watch a low pressure system develop in the outside of the Rockies, just in the foothills of the Rockies and out towards the plains, we're going to see that cold air be drawn down. And I'm going to show you that in the model data. And why don't we go over and look at that too? We'll take a look right now and show you what's going on. This is the GFS, the Global Forecast System from the NOAA and the National Weather Service. I'm going to use this model to show you what's going to be happening, and I'm going to change the parameters as well and show you what's happening, and I'll do this live so I can get this update out and about. But you can see high pressure system over the southeast is really giving everybody some enjoyable weather. But we do have a little area of disturbed weather that's going to move across Ohio, Illinois, Indiana. And that's going to touch off perhaps a dusting to up to 2 inches of snow over the next 24 to 36 hours. Winter weather advisories have been issued as well. I'll show you that on GeoCollaborate. But let's move this forward. You can see that batch of snow moving in towards the Ohio Valley, impacting them. And this is 12Z, so about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. There may be some impacts to rush hour traffic in the morning with this burst of snow. Some areas it could be moderate snow, not lasting very long. This is moving pretty quickly. Take a look here. It's going to be enhancing snow. As a matter of fact, winter storm warnings are in effect in Garrett County and the higher elevations of West Virginia because this snow is going to linger as the winds hit up against the Appalachian Mountains. I'll show you all the watches, warnings, and advisories in just a minute. But this is Friday night into Saturday morning, and you can see over Maryland here and along the spine of the Appalachians, even down into western North Carolina, where they're still recovering from Hurricane Helene. I know a lot of temporary housing has been moved into the area. There may be some people that are still without houses. Hopefully they're going to be brought inside because offered indoor shelter. It's going to be brutally cold, windy, and even snow in western North Carolina, as you can see this. This is just sort of a little dusting to 2 inches that may fall ahead of what will be the East Coast really first major snowstorm in the last couple of years. This is going to move out. Let me put this into motion here, and you can see that moving out by Sunday or Saturday morning, really, as this area of precipitation moves off the coastline. A lot of rain off where it's a little bit warmer. And you can see the rain coming into the Pacific Northwest here also Friday into Saturday with mountain snows and some heavy snows too in the Sierra Nevada. But let's take this a little further, and you can see that low pressure, a pretty vigorous one, developing rather quickly. Fortunately off the coastline, so that won't be impacting anybody along the coast here. But look at these isobars here. This indicates a strong northwesterly flow of winds. That's going to kick up the lake effect snow machine in Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, and perhaps a little bit off of Lake Michigan. But this is really cold air coming down, strong high pressure. But here's the start of what's going to be the major low pressure system that's going to give us a swath of snow and also ice. And that is not good for anybody to receive ice accumulations. So here now we're moving into Saturday night, early Sunday morning. You can see this low pressure system forming over the panhandle of Oklahoma and Texas. And you can see it's kicking off already. Forecast to kick off some freezing rain and sleet, and that is in parts of Kansas with snow to the north. So accumulations of snow will be rather light in western Kansas, central Kansas here as time goes on. But watch how quickly this low pressure system develops into a major low pressure system. Look at this. It changes that ice back into snow with a band of heavy snow extending from southern Iowa, northern Missouri, and also into Kansas. So this is going to be expanding eastward as this low tracks further to the east. High pressure to the north here is going to keep this low on an east-west track, not going to be moving up towards the Great Lakes. It's not going to be moving up towards New England. It's going to come straight across and be quite vigorous. Matter of fact, showers and thunderstorms will kick off along the Gulf Coast as well during the day on Sunday, and I'll show you that area of concern in just a few minutes in GeoCollaborate. So here we are now on Sunday, and this is in the afternoon, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And look at this low pressure system. So the green is rain. This is all rain with showers and thunderstorms. The pink area is ice. And this could be freezing rain and some sleet. This is the area we are very concerned about for potential power outages because of ice accumulation. I'm going to show you impacts to various sectors because this update is being done for the All Hazards Consortium and the private sector liaisons within state emergency operations centers and private sector partners, so we can all be on the same page looking at the same data at the same time. And so here we are. We have this stretch of very heavy snow now extending into southwestern Ohio, into Indiana and Illinois. And watch as I put this into motion here. This is now Sunday evening, about 7 o'clock in the evening. You can see this snow area extending now perhaps into the Washington, D.C. area, northern Virginia, certainly West Virginia. And that's going to likely evaporate in the beginning when it starts to move over the mid-Atlantic area, but then it will saturate the atmosphere and start falling. So that sublimation process is when the snow evaporates before it hits the ground because of the dry air that'll be around from high pressure. And so now we have this vigorous low pressure with perhaps severe thunderstorms moving through Tennessee and into in western Tennessee here, into western Alabama, and also into Louisiana. And some of these storms, as I mentioned, could be severe. So in Mississippi here, those severe thunderstorms will kick off sooner than in Alabama as this moves forward. But watch as I take this forward just one little notch, and this is early Monday morning. So we could have some nighttime severe thunderstorms moving through Alabama here and just leaving Mississippi. So keep your eyes open in those areas when we get to that period of time over the weekend. Keep your NOAA weather radio on in case there are any tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings issued. But look at this band of heavy snow. It's really extended now from the Chesapeake Bay, Delaware, southeastern Maryland, the eastern shore, all the way over to western Maryland and into Ohio. This is a band that's going to be very close to where it may mix with or change to sleet and freezing rain. Those areas that stay snow could see some significant accumulations, 6 inches of snow or more. We'll detail that more during the day tomorrow as we get closer to the event. But just to say that there is going to be a significant area of snow and ice associated with this storm over the next couple of days here, the weekend going into Monday. And here we are into Monday around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We still have moderate to heavy snow at times over Maryland and over southern Pennsylvania and West Virginia and into Ohio. And it quickly changes to rain just to the south. So this could be a very, very tight gradient where it rains and where it's going to be snowing because of the temperatures here. So in some areas it could be a heavy wet snow where temperatures are just above freezing. In other areas where that's definitely going to be in the 20s, such as Pennsylvania, it will be a dry snow there. But then we'll take this on into, look at this. This is Tuesday or 0Z Tuesday. So Monday night, still snowing on the backside of this system throughout Ohio and Kentucky and West Virginia and parts of Maryland. And look at this vigorous low pressure system. These are strong thunderstorms just off the coast of Maryland there. And then we'll take it on into Tuesday morning. And look at this, still some residual moisture and lingering snow showers on Tuesday. So we could have some significant snow accumulations in this area. Meanwhile, high pressure is going to build in right on the back side of that low and drive cold air down into Texas, Louisiana, all along the Gulf Coast and into Florida as well. Let me change this to the temperatures. And I'm going to go here into the thermodynamics. I'm going to look at 2 meter temperature anomalies. And I'm going to take this backwards here because we're going to go right into the area on Saturday when this low pressure system develops. See right here, it's developing in the Texas-Oklahoma panhandle. Look at all this cold air. It's ready to be tapped as this low pressure strengthens and moves to the east. Watch this temperature as we move forward. See the low? The low is right here, wrapping up in Oklahoma, bringing in some warm air in Oklahoma and southern Kansas, but drawing down the cold air on the backside of that low pressure system. So let's continue forward. Look at that. Here's the low wrapping up over Oklahoma. The cold air sees an opportunity to drive right down, and it's going to head right down into Texas. I'll continue this on, and look how this cold air just opens up and flows into Texas. This is where we could have some impacts to the power infrastructure. We could have areas of freezing pipes, broken pipes, and I'll go over some of that too here in just a minute. But look how this air spreads, this cold air spreads to the east and just expands. This is on Tuesday morning around 2 a.m. and it is very, very cold. This pink area is frigid temperatures. Temperatures likely in the range of single digits. Some areas at or below zero as well in northern Missouri. Plus you'll have a snowpack, which will really keep those temperatures cold and drive colder air down to the Gulf here. We're talking about temperatures at or below freezing in New Orleans, and that will be on Monday into Tuesday as well. We'll keep you posted on all of this, but even going back here, this is that stretch, that snowpack on the ground, and it's really enhancing those cold temperatures as well. So we could see single digits even in the state of Maryland, not too far from Washington, D.C., and that is on Tuesday morning next week. But then that cold air tries to break down, but the snowpack will keep it rather cold, and we have a long duration cold event here on the East Coast and the Southeast and the South that could impact critical infrastructure, and we'll be monitoring this very closely. So what I'd like to do is just go over a couple of things in GeoCollaborate first, and I'm going to show you this here, what it looks like from the standpoint of impactful weather. So here we are, and this area to the north is heavy snow. This is what's expected over the next 3 days, 3 to 4 days, where heavy snow is moving into the Washington, D.C. and Baltimore areas. And look at this. It'll happen sooner in Kansas and southeast Nebraska, northern Missouri, and also in Illinois and Indiana, where some areas could receive accumulations up to 15 inches of snow in parts of Missouri and Illinois and Indiana, and then lesser amounts as you move to the east, but still a significant amount for metropolitan areas. This is the area in pink that is likely to receive icing. And when I say icing, I mean freezing rain, mostly freezing rain, which could cause serious impacts to the energy infrastructure from eastern Kansas into Missouri, southern Illinois into Indiana, and much of Kentucky. I know you don't want to hear this in Kentucky from Paducah on up into Lexington. You've had your past experiences with severe ice storms. We could see upwards of 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of ice accumulation in this area. And so the power companies will all be on standby for this particular event. Even in West Virginia, southwestern Virginia, parts of North Carolina could see freezing rain, and that could accumulate on the wires. Down here in this orange area is where I mentioned severe thunderstorms perhaps developing Saturday into Sunday. Louisiana, eastern Texas, southeastern Arkansas, and also Mississippi seeing potential for severe thunderstorms, and that is on January 5th, potential severe weather for January 5th. This icing also is on January 5th, and as well as this heavy snow accumulation January 5th into January 6th. So that's Sunday into Monday is what we're expecting here. So what does that mean for all of this, and how can you use this information to prepare for what's going on if you're in these impacted regions? So let me show you this. So we're talking about, first of all, what you need to have in your car. If you have to travel for work, you're going to be out on the roads in any of these areas that are going to be impacted. It's going to be a very large section of population of the United States under the cold influence and ice and snow. So here's what you want for your car. I'm not going to read all this off. You can pause the video and take a look at this as well. So first aid kit, jumper cables, spare tire, your cell phone charger, water and snacks, just in case you're stranded on the roadways. You want to make sure you have a full tank of gas as well. Sand or kitty litter to help you get traction. If you want to get traction under your tires in case you're in any ice. So that is this particular one. Now, for your home, you want to have a preparation kit. And this is something that, we haven't really had many intense winters back to back. We've had them in the past, a couple of years ago. But this is a winter weather preparedness checklist for non-perishable foods, can opener, gallon of water for each person per day, extra warm clothing, rock salt, pet food, and all that stuff. So again, pause the video, take a look at this list, and go over it yourself. It's really important to be prepared, particularly if you're in the ice prediction area. Freezing rain could make power go out, and you do not want to be without power. You may have a generator. Never operate a generator inside of your house, not in your garage. It should always be operated outside, and additional fuel, gasoline, will be needed to keep that going if power outages extend more than a couple of days. So here are some impacts to the energy sector. We're talking about 1/4 of an inch of ice can add 500 pounds of weight to trees and power lines. That is unsafe for anybody in or near those power lines, and also for any households that are around trees, that have trees around them. You could also have tree limbs coming down. And of course, unsafe household temperatures could be reached if power is out, as you know. So you want to find a place that you might want to go in case any shelters are opened up where ice and heavy snow is expected. So cracked water, gas, and oil pipelines happen, and also NERC, the Emergency Regulatory Commission, the Energy Regulatory Commission. They have said more than half of the U.S. is at risk for blackouts this winter due to increased demand. And I know many of you may like AI and all the queries you make on the internet using AI, but it uses 20 times more power to do an AI search and build you something than it does just a regular search on a search engine. So power demands are really increasing rapidly across the country because of AI. The healthcare and public sectors, public health sectors, snow and ice contribute to more falls and injuries for personnel and the public. Cold homes, frozen walkways, icy roads, and also carbon monoxide poisoning happens because of generators. So make sure no generators are operating. And if you have to light any candles, do so very safely and in safe locations. Never go to bed with a candle burning in your house. Also, heart attacks from shoveling snow, hypothermia, respiratory disease, all strain responders if you're out there trying to work on your house when you're getting freezing temperatures and conditions. Food and agriculture, 2021, you remember that big outbreak of cold air in Texas? The storm caused $600 million at least in agricultural losses. Citrus, livestock, and vegetables were most of the items that were lost. Winter storm damage to meat plants can also cause suspended operations and impact livestock as well if they can't get food out to livestock. Also in the communications sector, sub-zero temperatures can affect the equipment that powers all of our mobile devices, or at least gives us the information we need and the connection we need to make phone calls. So we may see some sort of interruptions in these areas that are impacted by the tremendous cold air and the ice and the snow. Stress on extended power backup systems exists too. So all of the wireless carriers, they are in their data centers, they have backup power. But if power stays out for a long time, those systems may be stressed. These companies are pretty good at keeping the critical infrastructure going. But just in case you see any disruptions, that's why. Cold plus snow, freezing rain will result in longer icy conditions. You saw the cold temperatures that are going to be extending all the way down into Florida. That cold air is going to make any ice, any snow, any sleet stick around much longer. So we're talking about weeks that the snow would be around where it falls because of these below average temperatures. The transportation systems sector, runways and roadways face black ice, potholes, and freezing fog at times. The main thing is black ice. When you have a roadway, blacktop, and the ice forms and then melts because of the solar radiation, it will refreeze immediately as soon as the sun goes down or a shadow hits that road. It may look wet, but it could be black ice, and that will send you spinning out of control. So please stay off the roads if the conditions are icy, or if you think that the conditions are better, make sure you check on those conditions before you head out. Impacts to society. Well, winter death statistics for ice and snow, here they are. 70% of deaths occur in automobiles. So please stay off the road if any freezing rain, sleet, or snow is falling. It's even dangerous in the rain. And some of the rain could be heavy in the south where severe thunderstorms might be moving through. 25% of the people who pass away are caught in the storm. Many of you might think, I can make it, it's no problem, it's only an hour drive. You never know what's around that next corner if you're dealing with freezing rain, sleet, or snow. Also, majority are males over 40 years old. Also, winter death statistics for exposure to cold. 50% of people who pass away from exposure to cold are over 60 years old. More than 75% of those are males, and about 20% occur in the home when power is lost. I often say at the end of my videos, please check on your neighbors. They do appreciate it. I'm asking you to check on your neighbors before any of this precipitation onsets and during the storm as well, so you can keep tabs with them and make sure they're okay during this time, particularly if you lose power in your neighborhood. So that's what I wanted to cover. As far as accumulations, we'll talk about that tomorrow, but we're talking in the Midwest, 12 inches of snow or more where I have that snow outlined, and also around the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area. It looks like accumulations could be 6 inches of snow or more. I suspect that we'll start to see winter storm watches issued. Now, I want to go over to GeoCollaborate for a second because I do want to show you another piece of information. I showed you where the ice is going to be, where the snow is forecast to be right now, and along this line, it could go back and forth from rain to freezing rain to snow to sleet. Why isn't Washington, D.C. and all the way over to the Eastern Shore and Delaware covered in this heavy snow band? Because this is out for the next 3 days. So tomorrow, you'll see this extend a little bit further to the east. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this data set off and the hazards here, but I do want to turn on the warnings, watches, and advisories that are in effect along the East Coast and in the Midwest. So here you go. This is what's going on. So these are all winter storm watches in effect throughout Missouri and Kansas. This is a winter weather advisory in western central Kansas because when this low wraps up, it'll start to bring in some snow and freezing rain, but not a whole lot. These may be changed to winter storm warnings as this low comes together. But look at how this is starting to extend to the east. I'll zoom in here a little bit more. Winter storm warnings in effect for Garrett County, Maryland, and also up the higher elevations of West Virginia. Because of the system that they're getting right now, they're getting lake effect snow, but there's also another winter storm warning that's going to be issued for this area of snow that's going to be moving towards them. These areas throughout West Virginia, winter weather advisories. All of this is because of that little area of snow that's going to be moving through during the evening tonight, tomorrow, and then tomorrow night, which could possibly even give parts of northern Maryland an inch or two of snow, even on the eastern shore of Delaware. We might see winter weather advisories issued for southern Pennsylvania as well for an inch or so of snow, which could cause some slipperiness on the roadways. But a lot of advisories are in effect right now, and we also have the system that's going to be developing and moving across from Kansas City to St. Louis. The whole I-70 corridor there is going to be very hazardous driving conditions throughout the weekend, really. So be very, very careful as you head out. And if you don't have to go out, please don't go out. So that's it for this update. I'll be back during the day tomorrow. This has been an update on this critical weather situation that has been developing for the All Hazards Consortium and the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. Thank you for watching this update. Please take care of yourself. Listen to the local watches, warnings, and advisories that are issued in your areas. Heed them. Do not go out if the conditions are dangerous. You might have a big truck, but the big truck can't handle ice on the roadway. May be able to handle only snow, but when it's freezing rain or sleet, you will have no control as you're going around a corner. Please also watch out for your neighbors. Not only do they appreciate it, you may be saving their life. We'll see you tomorrow.